Mr. Chancellor, Mr. Vice-Chancellor. On the recommendation of the Senate of the University of Guelph, it is my great pleasure and honor to present to you Michael Anthony Jackson for the degree of Doctors of Laws honoris causa. Mick Jackson is a serial entrepreneur who is harnessing the power of business to empower people in the world's poorest regions to create a better life for themselves and for their communities. He is the founder and chairman of the Wild Hearts group of companies, which use their profits to fund global microfinance loans that transform the lives of thousands each year. Mick might have been your just average entrepreneur, if not for a fateful trip in 2001 to climb K2, the world's second highest and arguably most dangerous peak. The trip turned into a life-changing experience after his Sherpa became critically ill, and Mick abandoned his quest and carried his guide for 4 days to safety. He nearly lost his own life, but was also saved by a young girl from a village who led him to safety after he had collapsed. Upon returning home to Scotland, Mick was determined to give back in a meaningful way. In 2006, he established Wild Hearts, launching an e-commerce office supply company that uses its profits to generate microloans for women in developing countries. Their motto is, "Even a bad day at the office saves lives." Since then, he has expanded his business model through a series of companies which combine philanthropy with entrepreneurial efficiency. In 2010, Mick created MicroTyco, an international business challenge which has so far helped over 17,000 people develop their creative thinking and entrepreneurial skills. Teams of students seek to turn a £1, or in our case, $1, microloan into as much money as possible within 1 month, legally. The proceeds are then invested as microfinance. Participants in this challenge become an entrepreneur to fund an entrepreneur. The message of MicroTyco is simple. By discovering our own entrepreneurial talents, we can make the world a better place. Today, Wild Hearts is working in 40 countries, helping hundreds of thousands of people make their own way out of poverty with dignity and respect. Last year, Guelph students were the first students in North America to participate in the MicroTyco Challenge. For his efforts, Mick has received numerous honors. The Scottish industrialist Sir Tom Hunter described Mick as a catalyst for change. His passion for helping others to help themselves and his fundamental belief that business can be a force for good in the world reflects our university motto of changing lives and improving life, and is an emphatic demonstration of our college's motto and vision of leaders for a sustainable world. For his outstanding contributions to entrepreneurial education and his fight against global poverty, I ask you, Mr. Chancellor, to present Michael Anthony Jackson with a Doctor of Laws degree honoris causa.
By the authority of the Senate of the University of Guelph, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Laws. Congratulations. Let me give you
Wow. Let me tell you a little story. Kerry touched on what happened on the mountain. I am a product of the West. I went to fulfill an ambition to try and climb the second highest mountain in the world, the most dangerous. More people have died in K2. More people have been in space than have climbed it. 1 in 3 die on the way back down. I wasn't married then. I didn't have my 2 perfect sons and my amazing wife. I think I was trying to prove that I was husband material by showing how daring I was. I always say that men climb mountains because they can't give birth. They're always trying to prove something. But I went to fulfill an egoistic ambition, another notch, if you will. But life confronted me with what I needed to learn. Because when my guide collapsed, my dear friend Cher, who couldn't speak English, I don't speak Urdu, but he and I had bonded. Everybody laughs in the same language. And he and I became good friends. He got me out of fights with the Taliban. He got me out of the most incredible scrapes in northern Kashmir. And when he collapsed, I'll never forget the look in his eyes when I came off the satellite phone after being told that nobody was coming to help him. We were on our own. And he didn't speak English, but he could see my reaction, and he just folded in on himself. Now, I could have left him. You hear so many stories of people leaving climbers, etc. I could have, but I would have been haunted by those eyes for the rest of my life. And no amount of money and baubles and trinkets would ever have replaced that memory, would never have compensated for it. You see, the moral of that story, ladies and gentlemen, is that previously, and forgive the dark tone of this story, it was a French expedition. A young French climber had died. And when we radioed for help for him to take away his body, the Pakistani military sent a helicopter to evacuate his corpse. And the reason they wouldn't send help for Cher was because he was poor. And the crystallizing moment for me was when I realized that they would have left my grandfather for dead, who was a miner at 12 years old in Scotland, and they would have left my father for dead, who was raised in a slum, and they would have left my uncles, who left Scotland and came to Canada for a better life. They'd have left them too. Well, I carried him out, and it was hellish. And every night, all I could think about was the only reason we're having to go through this is because a man is judged by his lack of wealth, material wealth, and I refuse to spectate a world like that. Cher's alive to this day. I still hear from him. Kids ask me if he's on Twitter, if he's on Facebook. He's most definitely not. But it's the little child who saved me that was the crystallizing moment. I collapsed. These are quite awkward, aren't they? I don't wear them every day. Oh, there it goes. I collapsed and was drifting out of consciousness and was revived by a little tiny child who was about the size of my 4-year-old son. And she wouldn't leave me until I regained consciousness, and she took me to a little stream near her village, because I was just on the edge of her village, I didn't know, and wouldn't leave me until I drank and I'd revived myself. And she gave me the most beautiful smile and ran off. The whole Wild Hearts movement, 100,000 women every year free themselves from poverty through entrepreneurship, not handouts, and it's dedicated to that child. I don't know her name. I know nothing about her. She'll have forgotten all about me. She won't know where Scotland is. She'll have forgotten all about the desperate man who needed her, covered in blood, lying, drifting out of consciousness. She saved me. So if you ever ask yourself, yes, I've worked hard, yes, I've done my best, but what can I really do? What difference can I really make? Think of her. If you help one person, it doesn't stop there. It ripples into eternity. Of the little gang members in Glasgow who have been freed from a life on welfare because they discovered their talents through microtycho, from the students in Guelph that have suddenly realized that they were good, but now they're even better because of that. She's responsible for all of it. She has no idea. Who will you help? And so I'm going to give you 3 simple lessons which it took me a long time to learn, and I would ask you to reflect on them, but they're not simple lessons and they're not easy things that you'll solve in an afternoon. These are lifelong dedications, if you will. But 3 simple things for you to take away that I learned from that trip. 1, don't go looking at jobs because it's got a career progression and a good salary if it doesn't set your heart on fire. Really? No matter what pressure you're under to get a good job. I didn't have a job until I was 29, 26. I was in a metal band. Seriously. Until I was 26. Then I was unemployed for years. Everybody was worried about me. Didn't tell me to my face. And then I discovered my mojo, if you will. Now, I was very successful in business, but it was not until I came back from that mountain when the magic happened. Why? Because I discovered my deeper passion, my deeper values, and my higher aspirations. And it was when my passion and my talent collided that the magic started happening. And I don't mean I just went and worked for a charity and retreated to somewhere in Africa and did good work. I mean my entrepreneurial career took off to the extent that no one could believe the things that were happening. The magic starts when your passion and your talent collide. And if you don't dedicate that to yourself, you may go to your grave with your music still in your heart, because you'll never discover what you really could do. You don't get this stuff right. It's like going out with a girl you don't really fancy, or listening to music and trying to dance to music you don't really like. You won't know why, but it'll just be hard for you. So please, it won't come overnight, but listen to your passions, because they're as much a part of you as the color of your eyes, and they will whisper to you like your heartbeat. Don't ignore them, because that's what you were born to do. Once you discover that, or in your process, surround yourself with people that inspire you and who you admire and who share those passions. The thing that always amazes me about Guelph is when they keep saying lines. I go, I was just about to say that, or I feel that. Our strapline from Michael Tycho is inspiring the leaders our world deserves. And I read your line, lead us for a sustainable world. You're like, okay, get your own material, Guelph. But there's remarkable similarities because you will not achieve a fraction of what you want to or what you feel you can. It's not you who's doing it. It's not the me, it's we. In the UK, they're like, wow, Mick has just launched Michael Tycho in Canada. No, I haven't. Guelph did. I was bumping through the mountains of Guatemala with 2 senior Canadian business people who were so excited about Michael Tycho. They said, we've got to bring this to Canada. And an email literally that minute popped in from a guy called Trent Tucker. Hi, I'm friends with a friend of yours, a guy called Kerry Godfrey. Is this Michael Tycho thing just for Britain or can we do it in Canada? I was like, are you kidding me? The magic starts happening. And only when you mix and contribute to people who are as passionate and care about the things you care about, that's when the magic happens. It is I to the power of we. It's crucial. He who walks with the wise grows wise. He who keeps the company of fools will suffer harm. Mix with people who inspire you and who you can inspire. And the last point, the true nature of humanity. We have a selfish drive, and we need that. We wouldn't have survived as a species if we weren't selfish. You selfishly studied to do your best. You selfishly wanted to get a great degree from a great school. You need that. But I know so many depressed multimillionaires, friends of mine, living in their castles, and go, is that it? I made all the money. Was that it? Go, yeah, because you ignored the selfless side of yourself. And it's the balance of humanity. I say to kids, do you get more excited maybe when someone's opening a present you bought for them rather than just open? Yeah, it feels great. Exactly, that's your selfless side. You want other people to be safe and to do well. And if you can get that balance right, those 3 things, I promise you, it will set off a catalyst of events that at the end of your career, regardless of what you achieve, you will have led a rich life. I have given away, or invested rather, millions of dollars. I feel like the richest man on earth. And it's what I tell my sons about, not how much money I've made, how much money I've given. We make a life by what we give. Now, you have honored me today. You've honored my parents who are no longer with me. You've honored my kids. You've honored Wild Hearts. And you've honored my ancestors that came to Canada. I'm going to take this honor and I'm going to leverage it to take Wild Hearts and Michael Tycho round the world because I've now got Guelph as an example. And I suspect that if you do the same, if you take this gift of such an enlightened education from such a brilliant school, because this place isn't normal. Not all academics are like, they're a little bit crazy here, and that's why I love them. Because if Trent and Kerry had brought Michael Tycho to a school that's like some of the ones I've seen, they would have been snuffed down. But it wasn't. It flourished because of the culture here. If you take this gift, I suspect strongly we will set off such a beacon that will light up Canada, that this school is a center of compassionate business excellence, a light so bright that it will inspire thousands of Canadians, and we'll be able to see it all the way from the UK. And I can't wait. Thank you so much.